Is there anything you've changed in your marketing that you feel has helped?
Not really. I did do some, Groupon thing, and so I probably have about 5 or 6 people total that are on a Groupon deal, and I've been thinking a lot about that. And the reason that I did that was because as I was trying to build it back up, I just wanted to get people in the classes. But one of the things I've noticed is even though you're you're taking a financial hit, I like the class to be filled. And it seems like the kids enjoy it more if there's always a good group there.
Right.
Right. So it's kind of like if you're rolling along,
like
you got a couple classes. Yeah, if you got a couple classes going and you got 3 in this one and 4 in that one, and maybe you got a class with only 2, if you do a Groupon thing to kind of just round out those classes a little bit, I mean, you're already teaching the class. You're already spending the money. So round it out and build it into a class. So now maybe you can expand upon that. That's kind of the way I'm looking at that. It's making, bringing those people into the fold. Some of them are going to finish their Groupon and not continue. I'm sure, they're Groupon people. That's how they are. Most of them will probably be like that. But some will continue and some will go into private lessons eventually and all those kind of things. So I'd rather just keep
the
those
advertising
filled.
You got from Groupon is great.
Right. I think there's an overall awareness that being on that, for your website and for your search and long term, that doing those Groupon things really does impact. So I mean, and that's something I can revisit again as we roll into summer, because I'm sure, I'm probably going to have some dropout in summer. I'm preparing mentally for it right now. So my 30, I might have to scale back a class here or there. I think
if you tried, and the manual talks about turning it to like 4 or 5 week sessions instead of doing an 8 week.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, like, my after school, like, I don't really run it like an 8 week program, though. I just have it. It's just, like, not ongoing all the time.
Right. But you have the concert is sort of the
I'm trying to do, I'm trying to do a concert every, like, 2 months, roughly, to keep the momentum going.
So
I guess it's like a cycle, an 8 to 12 week cycle, for sure.
So we do what you do. We the enrollment's ongoing. These are the concert dates. But then come summer, we say, okay, we're going to do. If you're going to sign up, you can sign up for 5 weeks, or you can sign up for all 10. There's not going to be a concert, and then instead we make a recording, which is really just an iPhone recording of the instructor playing and the kids singing, and they get that, and they think they're rock stars because mom gets in the car and they hear themselves playing on mom's car stereo. We will drop to about 15 to 18 students in the summer, so we will lose a little more than half, and I just know that's the way it's going to be. But hey, 15 to 18 kids. For the summer, it's fine. We also do, Kidzrock Camp, which is, a big money maker. It sounds like you were successful with it. Well, I'll ask you one more thing. Is there anything that you've changed on, like when you get an inquiry, that something like if a mom calls with a 6-year-old, did you change your sales pitch over time? Yeah, for sure. I think that just took time for myself and the other people that answer the phone to kind of really get into that mindset of, listen, if this person is under 8 years old, no matter what the parent is telling us about how their kid is special and can really play at 4 years old and should be in private classes because they're going to be on The Voice by 5 years old, we talk them into, or at least try to get them to at least do a Kidzrock class first. Right. So anybody under those ages, I'm pushing everybody towards Kidzrock and letting them know, like, maybe, if you're a 7-year-old, like, we'll know, do a month, we'll know if, like, maybe they are moving fast for the other kids and feel like they're held back a little bit. And then if that's the case, then let's do it. We'll jump you into regular lessons, Well, that's great. And it's all about you making that commitment to do that.
Yeah, and I think just pitching those things that way, giving them those options, and just telling them, like, listen, hey, I know what you're saying. We've been doing this a long time, and most 6-year-olds are not going to stick with piano. Like, it's just not going to happen. I know what you're saying now, but 2 months from now, you're going to tell me that they don't want to practice, and you're going to quit.
And when
I'm telling them, like, listen, I would love to have you, but I would almost rather not take up my teacher's time slot for a student I know is only going to be here for a month or two. I'd way rather just give them, another student that I know is going to, an older student that's going to stick with it, So either Kidzrock or you have to commit to me that when your kid says it, like, I'm just telling you right now, they're not going to practice, period. You got to handle it.
If you say to a parent,
don't do it.
If you say to them, we're the expert, we're the doctor here, I am telling you, this is what historically happens, they will listen to you. They still might push back. It also sets a tone of, wow, these guys really seem to know what they're talking about. Okay, we'll try it. And if you always lead with, obviously, if you say to them, oh, well, if you go into lessons, you're probably going to drop out in a couple months. We're not going to make any money. Of course, you're not going to say that. But if you say, hey, I'm interested in the well-being of your child, and I want your child to engage with music, this is the way to go. That's their language, because at the end of the day, that's all they want for their kids.
Right.
Is for them to grow as individuals. Maybe I can only imagine in a place like Orange County, there might be some parents that think, my kid will be a star. They're on their way.
Right.
And I'm sure that happens in Boise, Idaho, too, where there's parents who I'm sure,
and there are those kids that come in and you're like, oh, wow, this kid's like, I signed up a kid yesterday for Kidzrock who came in and, like, it's like he barely got introduced to me and he was, like, singing and dancing for me in the office, like 10 seconds into meeting him. And he was like, I like this song. And he was, like, just singing a cappella, like a pop song off the radio and doing, like,
nice.
Crazy dance moves. And I was like, oh, this kid's totally going to fit in, But most kids aren't like that. And they're shy and,
and that
all
kid
those kind of things.
A kid who's accelerated like this boy, he still might find a lot of value in the group and performance experience Kidzrock has to offer.
Yeah.
You put that kid in the private lessons, that's great, and they can grow and they can learn, but they're not really going to they're not going to go out performing with a rock band yet.
Right.
So they're older. So yeah, I've had kids who are clearly more advanced musically than everyone else in the group. They wind up being the anchor of the group, but they're as happy as can be.
Right, exactly.
They're with their buddies, and they got a concert in a month at some big venue, and 300 people are going to be there to cheer them on.
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you there. But I think that's as far as any changes we made, I think those are key ones. I think, with anything, like, having confidence in it allows you just do so much better when you have confidence in your sales pitch, in closing the deal. So something like Kidzrock, when you first bring it in, that's why, like, if somebody is new to signing up to it, I would say you absolutely should teach some of the classes yourself, at least one class, so that you get good at it, because I feel like I know this thing inside and out. I know it's better than my teachers who are teaching it, for sure.
Right.
And so when I talk to a parent, I feel like I have this flow of confidence about how we're doing it, versus, like, when I wasn't that sure of my teacher doing it, I was almost like, you're kind of like, God, I hope it goes okay.
Right.
And
that's great advice. Just
teach
one class. Just one.
Yeah, I think you got to do it. Take that hour a week. Wednesdays at 4:30, I'm doing the Kidzrock class. This is mine. And also then I'm super competitive with everything. So that I'm like, Corey, look how much better our kids are after 2 weeks versus all the other teachers.
Here's an idea.
So now I'm on like the thing where it's like, okay, at the concert, we're just going to crush the other bands.
Right. Here's an idea for a studio owner who's not teaching a class is pick one lesson plan, really get it down, tell your instructor, I'm going to teach your class today, and you're going to evaluate me, and turn it in. You're going to be pretty nervous as, you know, it'll be a humbling experience, but what it's going to do is the instructor is going to look at you and say, oh, he's doing it all wrong. Because, you know, the evaluation's asking these questions, and the questions on the evaluation are really questions that they should be asking about themselves. So hopefully it will be a learning experience, you know, for the instructor and a learning experience, you know, for the owner because, right, they will then have a lot more confidence in their selling because they've taught it once before.
Right. The last thing I would say, the last thing I would say is I did hire somebody recently that when we went into the hiring process, we were specifically looking for somebody that we thought would be good at Kidzrock. So, you know, I'm bringing this female teacher on board who's younger, but, you know, has taught some young kids, like 4- and 5-year-olds before, but she's got her music degrees and she does piano and voice. So, you know, she's going to be a regular instructor for us as well. But, you know, I'm going to have her do all the training with you the normal way, and then she's going to be in on Corey and I's classes that we teach.
There you go.
So we'll bring her in and teach her how to do it that way by having her in the class with us so she can really see, like, how it flows and how we're doing it and how we manage the kids and, you know, all those kind of things. And, you know, I mean, I feel like long term, at least during, maybe not in the summer, but during the rest of the year, that this could be something that I could have 50 people in. You know, I mean, I'm at where, if I just look at where it's at right now, I feel like if we get good at that retention, keep tweaking the marketing a little bit, just get better and better and better at that, I could have 50 people most of the time.
With if you keep putting that energy you're putting into it, you'll get there easily. You know? I mean, and that's where I'm at, 45 to 50. It's kind of, I think you fluctuate between those numbers. And let me tell you, it's great profit margins and a good thing to look at. It's an important thing to do. I mean, even with the numbers you have now, is letting these parents know what the next step is. It's the 6 and the 7-year-old, the 4 and the 5-year-olds. The next step is stay with the program, but those 6 and 7-year-olds, they need to see that next step. Because if you don't show it to them, they'll leave and they'll find that next step elsewhere, possibly.
For sure.
No, 50 is very doable, and you're doing great. I think there's a great story there about big numbers out of the gate, and then a bit of a decline. And then you just kind of put some energy behind your marketing, focused on the instructors. Retention got better because, right, you want to keep that retention. It's so easy for us in general to be so focused on marketing that, you're throwing coals on the fire, but we're burning through the coals too quickly. We can keep those kids in our studios longer. It's gonna be a lot easier on all of us.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm on this treadmill at the school, in general, in that I'm bringing in 20 or 25 students a month, and I'm not really growing much,
Right.
I mean, if you have 200, 250 students, like the natural attrition, even if you're doing everything right, you're going to lose 10 or 15 students a month. It's really hard not to.
Look, and a lot of the kids
going
to a lot of the kids going to our schools, the parents want them to be well balanced, but they want them to be exposed to different things. They're doing sports.
Yeah.
They're maybe doing theater. So they got a lot going on in their lives. And I have kids, especially in Kidzrock, who are seasonal. They come in the fall.
Yeah.
And then I don't see them again. And then they come again next fall. And that's just kind of how they have their lives structured.
Yeah.
And we just have to be, prepared for that as business owners.
Right.
All right. Well,
that is true.
It was great
awesome.
talking to you. Lots of great information and insights, and I hope some of the other licensees can, have some nice takeaway info from this.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope so.
All right. You have a good day.
Thanks. All right. See you, buddy. Bye.